What is up, guys and girls? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having fun, and I hope you're all getting out on the water as much as possible. We are coming back at you today with a little bit of a different video where we will be answering all the commonly asked questions we get about Reckless Riders and Rhodes Island. So let's start right off with question number one, the most important one, I guess, and the most often kind of frequently asked one is, how are the conditions in Rhodes Island? How are the conditions on your own home spot? Well, the wind is side onshore, and which makes it very safe, because even if you're a beginner or if you have some sort of problem, whatever the case might be, the wind always brings you back to the beach. There might be a little walk of shame back up the beach, but that's hardly anything to worry about. The power of the wind, it starts in the morning, so it starts from 9-10 o'clock. You're gonna already get wind, and it goes on all the way into the late afternoon when the sun starts to set. It is lighter in the morning, so usually we get beginners out, people that like to ride light wind conditions from about 10 o'clock-ish, and the wind slowly comes up and up and up and up, and around 1-2 in the midday it kind of peaks at its max power, and it'll stay there all the way to the late afternoon, like 7, even 8 o'clock in the main season, when the sun starts to set. And that is one of our favorite times, the sunset session, the magical golden hour, which is the last wind of the day before the sun goes down. The power of the wind, like I said, it varies depending on the time of the day, but on average is around, the peak of the wind is around 20 knots during the main season in Rhodes Island. Now, as for the water conditions, the water is pump and jump. It's not flat, we don't have flat water, but it's choppy, but very nice, predictable chop, so to speak. So you can use the chop to your advantage a lot of the times. You can ride it, you can use it for jumping if that's what you do. It's not a chop that is hard to deal with. It's very predictable. It always comes from the same direction, so you get used to it very, very easily. For those flat water people out there kind of worried about that chop and getting used to that, it is very easy in Rhodes and really not easy to handle, and you actually might find that you like it in certain points. Now let's move on to the second question. Second question we get a lot is, how far is Reckless Riders from the airport, and how can I get from the airport to the spot? Reckless Riders is about a 15-minute drive from the airport, so not far at all. It's really easy to get there, one straight road, no complicated directions. You can get from the airport to the spot and to the whole area of Ixia where the spot is located really easily. Whether you want to take a taxi, of course they'll do the driving for you. A local bus can pick you up, that's a much cheaper option, but maybe not as comfortable. And of course you can rent a car directly from the airport, organize a transfer through your hotel. There can be a number of options you have, but those are the main ones there. And like I said, it's a 15-minute drive, very easy, no complicated directions. What accommodation options are there in Ixia and around Reckless Riders? That's another very common question we get. There is accommodation for everyone. There's absolutely all options you want out there. So you can have big hotels, small hotels, expensive hotels, fancy hotels, cheap hotels, Airbnbs, whatever you want, and they're all in walking distance from the beach and the spots. So they're all around the same area. You can easily get from your hotel to the spot, and you don't need any form of transportation at all. They're all very close. I think even one of the furthest ones we recommend is like a 10-minute walk to our spot. Now, talking about walking and distances, another question after accommodation is, do I need a car in Rhodes Island? No, you don't need a car. Well, unless you want to go around the island to see other things and not only wind sports. But if you're coming to Rhodes just for the wind sports and you want to stay in that area of Ixia and the surrounding area, and you want to kind of just walk from your hotel to the spot and back every day, you definitely don't need a car. You can walk, you can use a bicycle if you like, plenty of bicycles to rent, plenty of other options, but you just walking is the simplest option. And you can still get on the local bus, and it's a 5-minute bus drive into the center, into the town, where you can go shopping, take the family out, go for a bit of different restaurants and whatnot. But otherwise, everything is definitely walking distance that you will need around you in that area. If you like I said, want to go around and explore the island and see a lot of the other things the island of Rhodes has to offer, then yes, you can rent a car, but it's not a necessity. It will just make your life easier getting to those kind of things that you can see around our island, besides the wind sports and the local beach around the wind sports area. Now, the other question, kind of also connected to that, is Rhodes family friendly? Well, yes, like I just mentioned, there are a lot of things to do on the island, not only wind sports. So there is very nice food. Obviously, you're coming to Greece, so you're gonna love the Greek food and you're gonna explore all of it and the local cuisine. And there's plenty of shopping to do, plenty of cafes, plenty of things to see, ancient ruins that you can go and explore, the Butterfly Valley. There's a lot of things that you can see that have nothing to do with wind sports, and it's nice for any member of your family. If you're coming with all the family and you're worried about entertaining them, Rhodes is very family friendly and it's easy to get around and see all these things, and you will all enjoy them whether they are in your main area of interest or not. Now, again, kind of connected to the other question, is there something to do when there is no wind on Rhodes Island? Yes, plenty of things to do. Besides the sightseeing that I just mentioned, you can do other activities such as mountain biking, scuba diving, take boat trips. Big number of things you can do. Easily, you can Google search and see what kind of fits your liking, but there's definitely a lot of things you can do when there is no wind. Now, I don't want to make it sound like there is no wind very often, because one of our main complaints we get from our customers is that they didn't have one windless day to go and explore the island. But feel free to take a windless day off as well. Some rest is always good. Now, next question. Do you need a wetsuit in Rhodes? In the main season, not really. You don't need a wetsuit. Anytime you see us wearing a wetsuit in videos is, for me, mainly protection from the sun and the impact when I'm doing tricks and stuff, but otherwise you could easily go out in board shorts and that's it. If you see my wife wearing a wetsuit, that's because even though she's Lithuanian, she gets cold in all sorts of weather, including 40 degrees Celsius in August heat wave. So don't look at her. So no, you don't need a wetsuit in the main season. We do offer some wetsuit options for the people that want, but really a lot of the riders are out in, the ladies are out in bikinis, the guys are out in board shorts, and absolutely nothing else. If you come very early in the season or very late in the season, that's when you might need a shorty or a 2 or 3 mil wetsuit if you're the cold type of person and you want to keep warm. But otherwise, in the majority of our season, wetsuit is definitely not needed in Rhodes Island. Next question, is it easy to get good local food? Yes, it absolutely is. There's a huge amount of restaurants, all family run, all with good reputations that stay open year round, so they're not just tourist restaurants. They are there with very good traditional Greek food. When you come to us at Reckless Riders, I personally always give you a big list of restaurants you can go to because I love my Greek food. Now, the only thing I will say there as advice from the get-go, what I always recommend to everybody is do not go to hotels, get all-inclusive foods and eat lunch and dinner there and say like, oh, the food's not that good. Of course, it's not gonna be good in huge hotels that cook for thousands of people. When you're in Greece, you need to go out and visit the local restaurants and taste the local cuisine and get the real taste of Greece. And there's a lot of easy options close by the Reckless Riders and our spot, or even a little bit further out if you wanna go and explore different restaurants. And we even at Reckless Riders, when you come, we organize many times village nights and we take you out and show you my own village where I grew up, which is some of my favorite food in the world is there. So yes, really easy to get good local food and we'll help you out with that. Next question, and our last question for today is, can you rent equipment, store equipment, or rent equipment at Reckless Riders when you're not flying yet or when you're a beginner? This is a very common question. I left it also for last, because I think it's very important. As I've seen from different forums and staying kind of in the loop about everything, a lot of places do not rent wingfoil equipment when you don't know how to fly yet, or if you don't take a full package of lessons with them. This is not the case at Reckless Riders. We love to rent out equipment to anybody. We have special equipment for people that are at a very early level and want to go on their own. Very easy and very safe equipment to use. Now, of course, if you've never done any wind sport and you haven't done anything before, we always highly recommend you take at least an hour's lesson and see how you feel from then on. But especially for people that used to be windsurfers, for example, that have a big advantage in learning wingfoiling, or if they've already done an hour or two of wingfoiling in another place or back home and they want to come and rent and try it out on their own. If they really don't want to take a lesson and get some help from us, like I said, we always recommend an hour with one of our instructors that are specially trained and very professional, and they'll get you quickly to that level where you can just be autonomous and do your own thing. But even if you don't want that, if you have the general, very, very basic knowledge of how to keep the gear safe and most importantly yourself safe, we let you rent in the water. We have a lot of people that come and they have very minimal experience on wingfoiling, and we let them rent. We even give them some advice beforehand, like a quick 5-10 minute lesson to kind of refresh their memory from what they know and give them some extra advice on how to keep everything safe and themselves safe. And then there you can go. And like I mentioned in one of the previous questions, the conditions and the setup of the wind is super, super safe. So that even if they are completely gonna fail when people rent on their own, which hopefully they don't, but if they do just come out a little bit further downwind, they walk back up and start again. It is very safe. There's no rocks in the sea, only stones right up the front. So the moment you're in deep enough for the foil to be put down, you are safe, the equipment is safe, and everything is good to go. So we are happy to rent to anybody, and we will even help you get going in the beginning if you are a complete beginner with very minimal experience. So I hope I answered most of the questions some of you guys might be looking at when looking at this video and might be searching for answers to. I hope I gave you the answers you want to hear. Any questions you have and you want to add, you can just write them underneath in the comments and I will try to answer them there. If you have a load of questions, again, just write a list, and if there are even too many, we might make a second video with the same style. But just ask anything you like in the comments. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed learning information about Rhodes and Reckless Riders, and we will see you on the water.